First up for you live at 11 on the WHAS 11 night team. Look at those crowd, folks. It's going to be a quiet night across Kentuckiana. Hey, that certainly sounds boring, but after the past few days, it is great to report that. It is really the best news to bring you. First at 11 o'clock, thunderstorms did not turn severe and no tornadoes came out of the skies. Kentuckiana escapes the worst of the storms tonight as we did track severe weather across parts of the state. Hello, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us. I'm Doug Proffitt here with Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell. And Mallory, since Louisville's okay, what about the rest of Kentucky and especially London? The governor had ordered that evacuation to start at 6 tonight. Any tornadoes there?
Yeah, thankfully, no. They did have some severe thunderstorm warnings, both with the midday round and the evening round. And what you're looking at here is all the plotted warnings today. The yellow severe thunderstorm warnings, the green flash flood warnings, and the reds that you can see primarily off to our south and some also off to our west, tornado warnings from last night and into today. So you can tell, yes, most of Kentuckiana, we dodged a bullet yet again. London did have some gusty winds, but I'm not seeing any major damage reports from out there. So that is some good news for them. Also, more good news, that line off to the east of London. Here locally, you can see some storms just off to our northwest. Those are not severe, but that's why we still have just like that level 1 out of 5 here left on the map. Otherwise, it's been eaten away as that line continues to march eastward. So for tonight, we could see a spotty shower or thunder shower roll into our southern Indiana counties. Otherwise, the rest of us looking like a pretty quiet night with lows dropping into the 60s. We'll take a look at our quieter and cooler rest of the work week. That's coming up in our extended forecast, Doug.
Thank you, Mallory. That's an update we certainly all want to hear. But throughout this new severe weather threat as it approached Kentuckiana, a crucial and popular weather alert system from the National Weather Service that covers Louisville and others hasn't been working. Intentionally turned off for a major upgrade. WHAS 11's Isaiah Kim Martinez and our senior photojournalist Alyssa Newton are live right now downtown the area. Isaiah, you talked to the Louisville National Weather Service folks about the bad timing on this. What did they tell you?
Well, Doug, they said they couldn't delay this upgrade any further. They said that was not an option. And honestly, with some of the good news we got that we lucked out here, we're thankful for that because ultimately it could have been tricky and it actually raised some concerns from folks across the river.
This NOAA weather radio station is temporarily off the air.
One of the surefire ways to get severe weather alerts in the overnight hours.
They're nice and loud. You know, they'll wake you up at night.
The NOAA weather radio.
Please tune to an alternate weather radio broadcast or visit weather.gov for the latest weather information.
Has been offline all day in Louisville, Lexington, Bowling Green, and much of central Kentucky and southern Indiana for upgrades, ahead of another round of potentially strong to severe storms.
You need another way to get your alerts.
Kentucky's governor in storm-ravaged London, Kentucky, called it concerning. Betty Bruska of Crandall, Indiana, near Corydon, agrees.
Back online tomorrow.
Back online tomorrow. Oh. Well, with all of this coming up, it's a bad timing for the upgrade. I don't think I knew this was coming.
The weather radio has been her safety net for 30 years.
Some people don't have cell phones to be able to do that, so they would have nothing, especially in rural areas, yes.
I talked to Michael Kuchasik of the National Weather Service Louisville.
So unfortunately, when that computer needs to be updated, those systems do come down, and the timing's terrible with severe weather coming through Kentucky. It couldn't be rescheduled.
He explained to me why the update couldn't be postponed, despite the late May timing in the heart of severe weather season in Kentuckiana.
No, the weather was not a good excuse in the nationwide contract. Things were already set in motion to have this upgrade. So unfortunately, it is what it is. It was just poor timing.
Bruska has seen her fair share of powerful storms come through her 100-acre farm, enough to take things seriously.
There was a different building here, and it was made out of blocks at the back, and it dumped in on both cars. Some of them do come in the middle of the night.
Those are the most dangerous.
They are, and that's what you think about, so that's why I like to have that radio.
This time around, she'll have to rely on alerts sent to her cell phone.
There's always things to work on a farm.
It'll be a watchful eye to the sky for Betty and her iconic visitor. And Doug, Governor Beshear had basically urged folks, because of this weather radio inconvenience, to essentially stay up tonight because we knew it wouldn't be an overnight situation, and ensure that all alerts are gone before going to sleep. Obviously, we dodged the majority of it here in Louisville. The systems, though, should be back up and running by tomorrow, May 21st. Doug.
Isaiah, thank you very much. That bald eagle aware that better weather is on the way. Well, with the NOAA weather alert system down, we do send out alerts right here from the WHAS11 Weather Impact team. And now's a great time to download the free WHAS11 app. We stream all of our newscasts live as well on the app. So if you lose power, you can watch our newscasts and stay informed. These storms move through an already battered Kentucky. Watch closely right now on your screen, folks. This is video from the London Corbin, Kentucky airport showing the moment the tornado actually moved over that area late Friday evening. You can see the tornado through the lightning as it approaches the airport. Well, we do have some good news for you tonight. We checked in with the Laurel County Judge Executive David Westerfield just a little while ago. He tells me only heavy rain in London, Kentucky tonight. No tornadoes and no damage. The governor ordered an evacuation from 6 to 11 p.m., which they did keep in place as a precaution anyway. WHAS 11's Alexandra Goldberg and photojournalist Emma Gefter show us how people prepared ahead of the second round.
Look at my street, you'll see there's almost total devastation, except for my house and the house across the street.
It's 2 days after a major tornado, and now more severe storms are on the way. It triggered a precautionary evacuation of 2 neighborhoods by the governor.
I would rather stay home and protect my own property, but you can't protect it from nature.
Without access to the internet, homeowners like Tom Addington are waiting for officials to knock on doors.
I'm hoping they don't.
It's a mandatory evacuation with emergency officials providing transportation. The governor envisioning the worst all over again.
You look at all these piles where that stuff is going to be whipping through the air.
Governor, tonight's mandatory evacuations, how frequently are these issued?
Rarely. It's that serious. I mean, when was the last time that we had 2 neighborhoods devastated by a tornado that's going to have 60-mile-an-hour wind coming, about 48 hours after?
Governor Andy Beshear says the most impacted communities like the Sunshine Hills subdivision will have to leave their homes until 11 p.m. on Tuesday. In an exclusive interview at the London Corbin Airport, the governor told WHAS 11 more weather is the biggest concern.
Tonight, don't take any chances. Get somewhere safe. Ride this part out. It'll be over before you go to bed this time. Let's make sure everybody gets through it.
Alexandra Goldberg, WHAS 11 Night Team, on your side.
Also today, we're hearing from one of the loved ones of a fallen Laurel County, Kentucky firefighter, Major Roger Leslie Leatherman. He served that county for 36 years and died responding to Friday's tornado, a fire alarm he was running to on Sunshine Hill Road. Officials say they found Leatherman and his wife in a field near the roadway, both thrown by the tornado.
What I've heard is that he wrapped himself around my sister, and that I guess when the tornado hit, that it just separated them.
It's a big hit to our department.
Leatherman's wife miraculously survived and is currently recovering in the hospital. Leatherman was a volunteer firefighter in Laurel County for almost 50 years. Switching gears to our other top story for you right here on the Night Team. The Jefferson County School Board will pick the new leader of JCPS at 5 p.m. on Thursday. That's all according to the school board chairman, Dr. Corey Scholl, telling us that tonight. But the choice won't be announced publicly until a contract is finalized, possibly by Friday. Well, tonight, the final interviews for both Ben Schuldiner and Dr. Brian Yearwood, both going all in on DEI and other issues at 2 public meetings. WHAS 11 Night Team's Alex Dieterer and photojournalist Levi Hammer covered the give and take.
Face to face with the JCPS public they want to serve for the first time, answering their burning questions. Former Columbia, Missouri Superintendent Dr. Brian Yearwood and current Lansing, Michigan School District Superintendent Ben Schuldiner up first.
Will you clearly oppose or resist potential legislation that seeks to end diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives?
Yes. The key is to making it part of everything you do, so you actually can't just get rid of it. It's in how we grade, it's in how we hire, it's in how we run schools. And that's thoughtful, because then if there is something that comes from the federal government that says you can't ever use the word diversity ever again, we go, all right, well, we're already doing it.
We must have diversity because each child comes with a unique personality, a learning style, ability. How can we address all that if we move diversity out and say, this is how we're going to teach everyone? You can't. You have to be able to take students where they are and grow them. And you can't do that if you don't have a diversity lens, if you don't have equitable practices within your school district. Then there'll be the haves and the have-nots.
Do you support a tax increase?
Yearwood softening his response from what he told WHAS11 in this exclusive interview on Monday.
It's not, hey, let's go increase taxes. We must answer the question, why do we truly need a tax increase? Have we looked at all our inefficiencies in our district? And the only way a tax increase will be put out there is if it's collaboratively.
We're probably gonna have to raise taxes, you know? That's just the deal. And, you know, I would love your support on that.
One of Schuldner's priorities as superintendent, changing the workplace environment in the district, citing toxic workplace environment feedback.
We can't fix the culture of people wanting to work here and being positive here. The game's over anyway. So, you know, I think the number is like 23.5% of teacher turnover. That's way too high. And so we've got to address that as well.
While Yearwood wants to implement a mentorship program, asking every teacher to choose 5 students to mentor.
When a student, regardless of their background, knows that someone in that school truly cares about them, motivation goes through the roof.
JCPS Board Chair Corey Scholl said a decision on who the next JCPS superintendent will be made by Friday. Then negotiations begin. In Louisville, Alex Dieterer, the WHAS 11 night team on your side.
By the way, the current JCPS outgoing superintendent Marty Polio's last day is coming up July 1st. He is then starting as president at Ivy Tech Community College with its headquarters based in Indianapolis.